Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Shanevivor podcast. Today, we will be discussing the events of episode 1 of Shanevivor season 13, Trials of Olympus. Today, I will be joined by someone whose name you've probably heard a lot last season, Essence.
Hello.
Yes, hello, thank you for joining us, and let's go ahead and just get right on into it. So, first things first, there's the challenge, right? Each tribe has to make a monument, and the Olympus tribe
Mm.
ends up losing it. They had 9 members, and not a single one of them were able to design a monument within 24 hours. And the best we got is a description. So, what do you think is the reason for this?
um, I don't know. I was so surprised. Like everyone, like first, I can't remember who put in the description, but obviously it was AI generated. It was not good. And then they were
Yeah,
all like saying in the chat, they were all like, "Oh, someone needs to do something. Someone needs to do something," but none of them did anything. Like I don't really like. I don't know if nobody wanted to like take too much leadership and like be seen as a threat, but like
yeah, I definitely
surely
think,
that's
yeah, that definitely
sure.
could be it. As if everyone just doesn't want to have that big threat level, and like you said, like if everyone's trying to play under the radar. But that's just, I don't know, that's weird.
Yeah, is it like it's it gets to the point where it's like not seeming too much of a threat really worth going to tribal. Like in the end, it's not worth it. And to be honest, if you probably saved your tribe from going to tribal, you're going to be seen as a more heroic person that people would want to work with rather than someone who just didn't bother.
Yes, I found that even like normally when playing orgs, the person who does the flag challenge, yes, as a threat, but I've found most people actually have some respect for him and don't take them out, even if they threw it, which I know is a fear a
Yeah,
lot of people
exactly.
have. But like, I feel like most of the times, the person who steps up to do the flag is normally safe, and as
Yeah,
obviously that's not 100% the case, but that's what I've seen so far.
yeah, yeah, for
Yes,
sure.
yes. And I think it was Pom Pom that did the description. They managed to take the 2 seconds to go ahead and say, "Hey, AI, write me a description."
It was so bad, and I don't know why they did the description because the challenge like clearly said it was like talking about like colors and all of that. Like, in what world does that mean a description?
I don't know if Pom Pom really even looked at the challenge at all because they
Like,
acted surprised when the what's it called, when the description wasn't accepted as full, like a full submission. They were surprised by that. I What the
so
heck?
crazy.
Okay, but next topic is Courtney. Courtney was voted out this time, and they spent the entire beginning of the game asking for alliances with literally everyone they talked to within the first like
Mm.
30 seconds of meeting them. What the fuck were they thinking? What do you
Oh,
think?
I don't know. Like, she was so weird because she was in like a bit of a weird situation because she was like at the start she was like super active and like she was like, oh, can we form an alliance with like everyone? But the conversations that she was actually having weren't like that good. Like they were pretty dry and they weren't really going anywhere and like things like that. So I feel like she just like I don't know, like I don't really know what her like game plan was, but it wasn't really working for her. And then obviously, like when she got voted out, she started like lying to everyone, but she didn't have like enough connections to be able to lie this early on, and it just like completely just backfired. And I don't know, she was just doing too much with not enough, like not a good enough social game.
Yes, they were just trying to play so hard from a position where they didn't have like the resources to play. And even if you have the resources, you should not go and play that hard early on. There's
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just like the whole like lying about like I can't remember who she. I think it was Dania. I don't know how you say the name, but I'm pretty sure she like lied about having votes on them. Like, but I don't really understand what the point of lying about that was. Like, it just like put a massive target on her back, and then everyone was like, "Oh, Courtney's overplaying," and like all of this. It just didn't really make sense.
Yes, and before we continue, we do have our co-host here. He has joined. Aiden is here. Welcome, Aiden.
A little bit late, but I'm here.
Hello,
No,
hello. We're just right
anywhere
now.
I go, though.
Yes, for now we're just talking about Courtney's unusual strategies.
Uh, Unusual to say the least. Yeah, I was a little confused on how they were playing that.
Yes,
Um,
they definitely tried to do stuff with things that didn't have power for, and like people said they voted Courtney out because they were a social threat. They were not I
No,
don't think
she.
Courtney's a social threat.
I think the only reason that they were claimed to be a quote unquote social threat is because they straight up, like, I know we talked about it a little bit in the last episode, but Essence wasn't here for that. Going around and asking so many people, like, 2 sentences in, hey, you want to work together? Hey, you want to be in an
Yeah.
alliance?
Yeah.
Like, that definitely threw people off. And as people got more connected with other people, it really screwed them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
I feel like people were like, because I saw like people like going to each other and being like, "Oh, did Courtney ask you for an alliance?" and all of this. Like, if you spread yourself too thinly too fast, like people are gonna figure out that you're like playing everyone.
Yes. Yeah. But definitely a very weird strategy. I don't think any of us understand it, but maybe it works for them. I mean, it definitely didn't in this season, but maybe in some other random season, if they give it like maybe 100 tries, it'll work once.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. It might make them to merge just that one time.
Possibly. They could make it to merge because people just realize how bad they are at the game, at least with that part.
I
Sorry,
mean, all
I'm
that
shitting on
is,
Courtney a lot.
yeah, but I mean, all that has to happen is that it just has to go around orgs and be like, this person's terrible. So,
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Next thing. So, other part of the challenge, stepping away from Courtney a little bit. There's the temples that everyone goes to. You get to do your god challenge. So obviously, there was Jasper. He cheated. We're not going to mention him at all. Screw Jasper. But if ever we're going to focus on the challenge, you're not giving Jasper his time in the spotlight. So he
L
went.
cheater, L cheater.
L
Just have,
cheater. So yeah, he went to my god challenge. He went to the Zeus challenge. He didn't have to, but great. He chose mine first. Happy. And he failed at it. So just what are your thoughts on the challenge in general?
Um,
Or do you need me to read the challenge real quick?
I it was like something he had to like send a message, didn't he, to everyone like every hour.
Yes, it's essentially a check-in challenge, but you have to send a message to everyone in your tribe every hour for 15 hours straight, and then you get an idol. It's
I mean, I think that's like a really good challenge, especially this early on because like you're doing something that you should be doing anyway, and you're getting a reward out of it. So he failed, didn't he? But
yeah,
like,
he failed on hour 3. Did not make it far at
which
all.
like I don't understand how like I don't know, maybe it was like a timing issue, but that seems like a pretty like win-win situation
Yeah.
to me. So
Maybe he was just on his alt instead. Didn't have enough time to be on his main account.
I don't know. I think with that challenge, I think that it being so early on kind of also, like, it's a good challenge early, 100%. But I feel like it also threw people off with Jasper because if you go and look, like, I think
oh
it was
yeah,
Spencer sent, for the first 3 hours, Jasper did it. And then Spencer sent a message in their confessional later on and was like, time zones exist. So I
Yeah.
feel like they're going
yeah.
to a little pushy this early on.
I feel
If
like he was like saying quite weird stuff as well. Like if I was doing it, I would just start saying random stuff. Like not gonna lie, like not even doing like game, like talking about game. I would just like I don't know, like send random gifs.
yeah,
It's
or like I would just bring up like random things or be like, look at my ducks, like something outside, not something alongside of anyways. How are you? And then Spencer question mark, and then that's
Yeah,
definitely be off putting in my books, and I wouldn't want that to be coming to me as a message because that would make me feel like that player is like trying to like push something on me almost, like if that makes sense, like they're wanting
mm,
to kind of solidify something with me, and if I don't want something solidified with that person, then I'm not going to sit there and have somebody talk to me or message me once an hour. And it's like I said, if they made it something other than game, it would have been different. But I feel like that just definitely threw people off.
yes. If
yeah,
you
for sure.
if you use that challenge in a way like Jasper did, it definitely has a way to drastically just hurt your game. Just because you can make all people in your tribe annoyed at you just from because if you do what he did and just spam message people with like weird messages every hour, Yeah, that I don't think that will end well, and probably isn't worth the idol, even if you do succeed and get it.
Yeah.
Okay, moving right along though. What is everyone's top players? Who are you really looking at? Who do you love to want to see play and get far in this game?
Um, I love Jules. Like, I just think, well, I've seen her play before, and I know she's like a really good player, and I've seen her do great things. So I'm really excited to see her play here. And I feel like so far we've really seen her like connect with a lot of people. But the thing is, I worry for her is that I feel like people are already realizing that she's like a big social threat, and I don't want like the same thing to happen to her that happened to me last season. Like you just get taken out mid merge because people just don't want you around.
Yeah, because like as soon as you get that target on you of that person's a social threat, that is a very
Mm.
hard thing to shake. And Jules, if she actually has it solidified on her, like it could just end up making it to where it's almost impossible for her to win just because everyone already sees her as a threat. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I do agree there because in the power trio that was happening on the how do you even say it, Tartarus tribe, they
Yeah, I think
instantly
that's it.
brought up they like almost instantly after, the first challenge, it was said that they checked mutual servers and Jules had first. So I feel like a little bit of metagaming might go on with that just
Yeah.
because Jules was a winner there. And with that being, a lot of the people there play here and vice versa, with Hex being a member of our, associated production team, that I feel like that almost brings the server closer to this one. And I feel like that's definitely going to, like, the more that gets out, the more of a threat they're going to become.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. And we know Essence absolutely loves metagaming. It's your favorite thing, right?
I no, I will
Literally.
die on this hill. I do not metagame. Everyone that was coming at me last season. I did not metagame. I don't care what anyone says.
I don't think you metagamed. I mean, obviously, a blood versus water season is different. You're allowed to have pre-mades. You're allowed
Yeah,
to
like
metagame people
you
for
you
having alliances with other people that are in the season. But
mm,
yeah,
I mean, it's the whole point of the season.
yes, it's blood
yeah.
versus water. Yeah.
I don't know, somebody who I'm excited to see play. I really want to see Teddy do well. I feel
Okay.
like
I have
Teddy is.
strong opinions.
You have strong opinions on Teddy.
Um well, I know him from like other servers and I've seen him play and I know how he plays and I've seen him win. I he is a good player, like that's undeniable, but he like plays in like a very distinctive way, which I feel like will annoy a lot of people. And I feel like we can see it happening already. Like people just aren't engaging in the conversations that he's having. And whilst he's still making these connections and having these conversations, I feel like he's gonna be like almost. I feel like he will get to merge. I know. I feel like he will definitely get to merge, but when he gets there, I feel like he's gonna become isolated very quickly.
I can see that happening. I don't know. I just feel like as long as Teddy can make really good connections, I feel like they will make it far. But I feel like at this point, they're also going to have to rely a lot, like from the way it looks now, they're going to have to rely a lot on competition wins, along with
Mm,
strategizing with other people to make themselves go further into the game.
Yes. Although I do think that Teddy, like, I don't think Teddy people are seeing as big of a threat as other people in like that alliance that Teddy's in with like Nate
mm,
and people like Nate and Dame and people like those. I think he's considered to be the lesser threat of those alliances, so I think that could end up working really well for him in the long run. But
I agree because that's like if going back on last season, that would be almost like the Mal and Essence duo. You had Essence, who really stuck out, was a very big power player, while Mal also was, but Mal was kind of hiding behind Essence until the perfect time. And then as soon as it was the right time, Mal and I took Essence out, and then we both made finals. So I feel like if Teddy can do that, Teddy will have a lot better of a chance, along with the fact that they will have moves behind them to help them in the end.
yes. Okay,
mm.
so we've got a Jules pick, a Teddy pick. Or wait, did you pick Jules Essence? Wait.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. I I'm honestly, I from like earlier on, very beginning of the season, this player was not showing much, but now I think Patrick is actually going to do really well. I'm looking forward to seeing Patrick play. I think they can get fairly far. I'm unsure if they're going to win. I don't think they're my winner pick, but I think they're going to have a very exciting game and get to at least mid merge.
I can see that. I just feel like they almost like they made connections a little later than everybody else.
Mm,
But at the same time, that's not necessarily a bad thing because that could keep them away from the oh, this person's a social threat aspect. But as long as they make decent enough connections to make it until merge, I can definitely see them going far.
Yes, their connections
yeah.
definitely started happening really like day two, 2.5 ish. Yeah,
Yeah.
there wasn't a lot going on for them day one.
Yeah, I know we touched about this, but I want to ask Essence this question. Who are you not rooting for? Like, who is somebody you want to see go soon, you don't want to see win? Like, who is somebody that
Mm.
you're definitely rooting against this season?
Um, I don't know. That's a hard question. I feel like it's. I'm not really rooting against anyone. I feel like everyone's kind of playing the same game, and they're like all trying to play under the radar. But someone who I feel like is not really doing a lot right now is Jinx, and they didn't even like speak the whole of the first day, and I feel like they haven't made enough connections or enough strong connections, and I feel like they are gonna go within the next few tribals if the Olympus tribe does go to tribal again.
Yes, because yeah, I agree there.
Yeah, I do agree there. See, the only thing that gets me on that is we all thought last season the same thing about Allison. So I feel like Jinx is almost going to try and play that same kind of game. Because if you go look at their chats, they've been very like let's go to the Jinx Teddy, for example. They respond late, they don't instantly respond to anything or don't instantly respond to much. When they have conversations, they're kind of shorter, but at the same time they're also making that small connection that could lead people to believe that they have their vote.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like they're like the type of yeah, they're definitely like the type of player that's either gonna get out really quickly or they're gonna be taken to the end as a go. And I feel like there's a lot of players like this right now. Like especially on the original Olympus tribe, like they're all like not doing a lot. They're all like there's no one that really stands out of that's doing a lot. So I feel like we've got to like wait and see what people. I feel like people are gonna start like playing the game, especially with this swap that we've just seen. But yeah,
Yeah, yes, I really hope that people do start picking up the game because I agree with you. There's just so many inactives that are playing, trying to play, or maybe not even inactive, but people are just playing, trying to play so far under the radar that literally nobody is sticking out. It's just I don't know.
I'll agree
yeah,
with you there. I feel like this with this cast, everybody is either trying to be the power player or they're trying
yeah,
to be under the radar, and I don't think there's anybody that's in between on that. Because we like I said before, we have the power trio. But other than that, nobody's really sticking out to me as somebody who wants to play as a power player. So you have 3 people of this whole cast of 20 people that wanted to play as a power player, and the other 17 people wanted to try and be under the radar, which is actually kind of insane because nobody's really wanting to play that social game. I haven't seen anybody that really wanted to play that strategic game. It's just everybody's trying to stay under the radar. And I feel like that's going to either become a very interesting season or a very boring season once we get a little further into the game.
Yes, I have my fingers crossed. Once merge hits, once we get everyone that goes to like one or two tribals, really hoping things pick up because yeah,
yeah.
I'm struggling for things to talk about in my talk show. There's kind of a lot happening.
I, I feel like what's gonna happen is like that power trio. I feel like they're all gonna get to merge, and then they're gonna use like the people that are playing under the radar at the moment as like goats for them. And I feel like that power trio will not last that merge.
I
Like,
agree. I think they're going to use each other to make it to merge and then take each other out once merge comes. But in order for them to do that, they're going to have really solid connections with people And I just, as of now, I don't really see that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we would have seen a lot more, strategy and game talk had the Tartarus camp actually went to tribal. But
Yeah,
with
for sure.
but with three of the first four people coming from the Olympus tribe, I just feel like we haven't seen anybody on the Tartarus's tribe full potential yet.
Yes. And uh, yeah, you mentioned that the threats we went through target each other in the merge. I think that's an absolutely terrible strategy. When in merge, if there are threats, I really think that the threats, assuming you can actually work together and semi trust each other, that you need to form a threat alliance to work together. It's what I've used to get far in the
Really?
game. I think threat alliances, like up until maybe final seven, final six, and then you turn on each other, because if you start taking out the other threats come like final 12, final 11, then okay, great. You got another threat, and then that leaves you the biggest threat standing at final 10. You want to be the biggest threat standing at final 3, not at final 10.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I don't know. I don't see much strategy from them, which is why I feel like that's what's going to happen. They haven't had much of a strategic game from what we've seen. But like I said, we just haven't seen any of the power trio go to a tribal council yet. So we haven't
Yeah.
really got to see any strategic game from them.
But I feel like if they're the only people that are playing hard, they are gonna want to take each other out because if you're not like if there's like three power players and then the rest are like inactives, like well not inactives, but like they're not doing a whole bunch, they're just like extra votes. Like, why would you take one of them out when you could take a threat out? Like maybe that's just how I play, but like in my opinion, why would you not do that? Like especially when it's like final 10, final 9. I feel like that's like the best opportunity you have to like really solidify your place.
See, I don't know. I would disagree with you on that. I feel like you want to wait a little further into merge before you start taking out threats, such as Final Seven, Final Six,
Not
which
disagreeing.
I don't know. I just feel like you want to have, a
but
couple threats left in the game at the Final Seven, and then
but
solidify yourself with, because obviously you're going to have two sides more than likely. So you want to solidify yourself with both sides, which obviously I didn't play the best game last season, but I will say I took out two very strong players, or was a part of taking out two very strong players at the final seven and final six. And that put me right in the middle at final five, which didn't mean anything considering the fact that for the first time in Shanevivor history, nobody had a vote.
I
But
feel like last season was very different to this season, or at least so
Yes.
far, because last season almost everyone apart from like Alison was actually playing a decent game. Like in like final 10, final 9. Like everyone I feel like at like final 10 and final 9, like most people had a good shot at winning and like there was no one like who was really inactive and not doing a lot apart from Alison. Whereas this season I can see it being a very well so far being an inactive merge and there being just a few threats. So I don't know. It'll be interesting.
I don't know.
Yes.
I want to see some more people this season. I want to see people play the middle game. I want to
Mm-mm.
see people play each side.
Uh
I want to see people flip from vote to vote because I want to see how people react to that. I want to see a little bit of chaos.
See, I've dabbled with trying to play in the middle game. Personally, after trying it out for a few seasons, I don't it's a very high risk, high reward strategy. And it's not right for me. It may be right for other players, but I just feel if you get caught playing the middle and everyone recognizes that, there's almost no
Yeah.
saving yourself.
Yeah,
I
for
agree.
sure.
I agree with you that it adds fun to the season, it adds drama, it makes it more entertaining for us. But as a strategy and for the person doing it, if you are really good at it and really want to try to play the middle, go for it. But it's not a strategy I 100% am behind.
I feel
See,
like
I don't know.
the only way I feel like that would work if you like play the middle is if one of the power trio play the middle with and like if there's like going into tribal and there's like under the radar like divide and then like an over the radar divide. Like one person of that power trio plays in the middle. I feel like that could work because if all of those people are trying to play under the radar, they're not going to put a massive threat on their back by like snitching on the person that's playing the middle. Like, surely it would be beneficial to them.
See, I agree. I feel like once the power trio wants to start targeting each other, they're going to have one of them is going to have to play the middle. One of them is going to have to choose a side. And I know I keep referencing back to last season, but me, Essence, Mal. Mal was the middle vote there. Mal was the decider there. Was Mal going to vote out his partner? Or was he going to take out a lesser threat? So I feel like Mal played that very well, took out a threat, but at the same time, I feel like Mal, that's what solidified Mal's place in the game, was that vote.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Because I feel like that's where he showed that he knows what he's doing and that he knows when to take people out, when not to take people out, who to keep, who not to keep. And I feel that somebody this season is going to have to play that same style of game out of that power trio.
Yeah, there's no way that power trio are gonna let each other get to final three. There's no way. Like they would be stupid 100%. To do that.
Yes, no. I definitely think there's going to be from this season. I think at final three there's going to be a clear winner. I don't think it's going to be a debate.
It will be like a power player and two goats. I feel like that's what's going to happen.
That is also what my prediction is. Assuming it's a final three. I don't know if it's a final three or final two, but my guess is final three.
Well, see, the only thing that I think about that is let's throw three random people, and I'm not even going to say names, but let's say it comes final five. You have a power player that has three of the numbers along with their own, which is 4 votes, and then that sole person that's on the out wins immunity. And let's say that's one of the other power players. That's going to be 2 power players that have solidified themselves in the final 4. And I feel like the way people are playing this season, one of those power players is going to win the final 4 immunity. And I don't see anybody, as of now, throwing themselves into fire. So I feel like it's going to be a GOAT versus a power player. So we're either going to have a very clear winner or it's going to be a very close game between 2 power players in the finals.
I hope that someone under the radar is just like a comp beast and then like all the power players have to go against each other.
I agree.
Yes.
That would just be really interesting. Like someone who has like no social connections just keeps winning every single immunity challenge.
Pom Pom.
Oh, I was gonna say Pom Pom. You stole my name. God dang it. Then in that case, I'm gonna say I'm rooting for Flower. See, Flower has no social connections. I don't think they're that active. But whatever. We can talk more on that. Yes. We can talk more on all of this in a future episode. But before we go, does anyone else have any final topics before we wrap this up?
I don't think so.
Aiden?
No, I don't think so.
All right. In that case, then, thank you for joining us today, Essence, and thank you for joining me, Aiden. It was a little late, but still thank you. And that is all for today. I hope you all enjoyed this episode of the podcast. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe to let us know you want to see more. That is all for now. Toodaloo.